Today we're going to be looking at Wigton Windfarms Limited. So this is our stock review and analysis of the company. We're going to take you through an overview of the company, look at their financial history, look at the most recent results. Then we're going to talk about their price history using JMB Moneyline, who is our sponsor for this episode. Then we're going to talk about their dividend history, and finally close out with any upcoming news about the company. So this is our usual stock review. If you have any questions about the company, leave it in the comments. Let me also know which companies you'd like me to review, and let's just get right into it.
Learning is the key to successful investing, and who doesn't want to invest in some way?
Here at Learn, Grow, Invest, we focus on financial education, all with the aim of sharing our knowledge on personal finance, investing, and building wealth. We do this on the foundation of our faith in God.
If a more holistic approach is what you need, check out our Grow Faith-based financial coaching program.
Find out more about us at learngrowinvestclub.com
and follow us on all social media platforms at Learn, Grow, Invest.
All right, so I have to say, of course, that anything that I say here is for discussion, education, entertainment, and illustrative purposes only, and should certainly not be construed as professional financial advice, solicitation, or recommendation to buy or sell any security. At the point of this video, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, all right? So we're going to be looking at Wigton Windfarm Limited, as I said before. And again, this episode is sponsored by JMB Moneyline, so we'll be using the Moneyline platform to look at the price history of the company. So let's start. Wigton Windfarm is a green energy company which installs and/or provides clean and renewable energy solutions, including wind, solar, and hydro. The company was incorporated by the Government of Jamaica in April 2000, and following divestment by way of an initial public offering, was listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange in May 2019. Very widely advertised and promoted IPO. I don't think I've ever seen, so much attention by, the government for an offer. Well, maybe Trans Jamaica would have been a close second there, but widely advertised and well known by many investors, right? The company operates one of the largest wind farms in the English-speaking Caribbean, a 62.7 megawatt facility in Rose Hill, Manchester. Notwithstanding the current operations being anchored in wind energy generation, the company is cognizant of the impact of other areas of renewables, and in line with its business diversification plan, has been aggressively making forays into the non-traditional areas to seek to diversify its revenue streams, right? And what you're seeing is the different phases. We're going to be talking about those in some other slides, but we'll get to those a little bit later. But you're seeing phases, capacity, year of installation. So the most recent here would be Wigton 3, and the number of wind turbines there would be 12. And of course, we have an image here of the CEO. We're hoping to get an interview with him soon. Hasn't been confirmed at the point of this video, so I can't give you a date as yet, but it's something that we're working on. So their mission and vision. The mission is to be the benchmark in Jamaica's renewable energy industry and the premier independent power producer in Jamaica and the Caribbean, involved in the development, installation, and promulgation of wind, photovoltaic, grid-tied systems, and other renewable energy products. Vision here is to increase the wealth of our shareholders by launching new business lines and operating profitably while preserving the environment, practicing good corporate citizenship, and building technical capacity in renewable energy for Jamaica and the Caribbean. So very clear mission and vision there. In terms of the phases that I mentioned before, so as I mentioned, they operate at 62.7 megawatt wind farm complex in Rose Hill, Manchester. And the wind farm currently comprises of 3 plants, right? And we're going to talk about those now. So phase 1 is the company's original 20.7 megawatt generating facility, which was commissioned in 2004. The plant consists of 23 900 kilowatt rated NEG Micon NM 52900 wind turbines situated over a 4.3 kilometer area, which is elevated at 750 meters. The turbines have hub height, and I'll probably just pause there because some of you may not understand what all of this means. So let me just move on to phase 2 here. But the important part about phase 1 here, it generates an average of 52 million kilowatt of electricity annually for the grid, which reduces the company's demand for oil by more than 30,000 barrels per year, right? Phase 2 is 18 megawatts, and that's expansion from the initial wind farm that was developed to maximize the energy potential of the land. An expansion was designed and developed to allow for 9 2-megawatt Vestas. Let's see, for this one now, this one plant supplies an average of 54 million kilowatt hours of electricity to the grid each year, reducing consumption by more than 30,000 barrels here again. And this provides power to approximately 24,000 homes. And then we see the final one, phase 3 here, was commissioned in June 2016. The project's annual output is 63,000 kilowatt hours. And we see here that this one, let's go to the, in terms of what it's been able to do, power more than 31,500 homes and decrease the national supply by over 37,000 barrels per year. All right. So let's move on from here. In terms of on there, so all of this information that I'm reading so far is from their website. The link is in the description. Feel free to check it out and read more about the company. So what it says here is that Wigton's focus is to be the thematic hub for the Caribbean. So this is something that since 2020, in its role as the regional wind thematic hub, a joint venture with the Caribbean Center of Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, has set various targets to assist the CARICOM region to realize its renewable energy targets and unconditional national determined contribution emissions reductions. So as such, they were contracted to execute a deliverable pertaining to the capacity building webinar for training manual for wind resource assessment. And it goes into the details on their website. Again, you can read some more on that. So the company is, actively seeks to support the growth of the industry itself by providing training and, resources to assist the growth of the renewable energy sector. In terms of their top 10 shareholders, this is it as at December 31st, 2022. At this point, we're in March 2023. So, of course, the top 10 is not static, but you see Mayberry Jamaica Equities Limited is number 1 shareholder with 1.1 billion units, right? So that's 10% of the company. Then we have VMBS, NIS, ATL, Sagicor Investments, Prime Asset Management Pool Equity Fund, Jeffrey Ford, Sagicor Equity Fund, MFNG Asset Management, and then Mayberry Investment Pension Scheme also has shares, right? So, you notice a trend here in terms of the top 10. So, take for that what you will. Let's look into the numbers, right? So in terms of the 3 statements that we look at here, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, we're looking at a couple of things. Now, the information or the things that stand out to us from each statement will vary, but on a general level, these are the things that we're looking at, and this is shared here so that you understand, what we're looking for. So it's not as we try to get understanding about the company. We're looking at these key things to help us know, whether or not the company is headed in the right direction and what we can take in terms of, what they're doing in terms of profitability. All right. So these notes are taken from their statements. So I'll get into these first before we, look at the statements themselves. So it says here that they experienced an increase in its production by 9.9. Or 9.9 kilowatt hour, or 9.3% comparable to the previous period. The average plant availability rate increased to 91%, up from 88.9%, and that represents a 2.5% change. They'll continue to play their part in the reduction of the negative impact of climate change, and is fostering environmental sustainability through its 100% clean energy plant, right? In terms of total revenue and sales for the period, it was 2 billion, a 2.43 million, or 13.6% increase when compared to the amount earned of 1.8 billion. This included in total revenue specifically other net income was from the sale of carbon credits of 137 million. The sale of 308,000 tonnage of carbon credits was completed during the period, and it also would have saw returns on its most recent investment in the Norman Manley International Airport solar photovoltaic project, and was undertaken on a joint venture with the IEC SPEI Limited, as Wigton seeks to diversify its revenue sources. Something that we mentioned here before in terms of what they're seeking to do. Numbers here you're looking at from the income statement. So production, we see the comparison from the period before. So this report is 9 months for the period ending December 31st. So we see that growth of 9.3% there. Availability is up 2.5%. Total revenue has grown, so almost 14%. That's good to see. Expenses actually decreased. It's slightly increased, so marginal increase here. Net profit after tax, 81%. So that's actually, pretty good to see. Gross profit margin stands at 64%, and EPS would have doubled, almost doubled, growing 84%, right? So all of these are things that are considered to be heading in the right direction for the company. So definitely good to see here. Next, we're gonna look at the balance sheet. More of the same here. We're comparing quarters and year to date. Looking at cash, looking at any debt or liabilities, retained earnings, things of that nature. Depending on the company, we also look at receivables and inventory. So in terms of non-current assets, 6.2 billion as opposed to 6.7. So small decrease there of 7.6%. Current assets, 4.5 billion, relatively flat. Non-current liabilities, 4.8 billion. And current liabilities, 969 million. This would have actually seeming to almost double. And so this is the state of their balance sheet as at the end of the third quarter. Now, cash flow, that's what we're going to look to next. If you're not able to see this, I apologize, but the link to the statement is in the description, so feel free to do your own analysis there. In terms of cash flow from operating activities, there have been 944 million as at December 31st, compared to 1 billion. So let's see the main things to look at here. Interest expense, 151 million as opposed to 94 million. Taxation would have been 159 million as opposed to 87 million. And we see where gain on foreign balances would be 50 million as opposed to 102 for the same period for the previous year. Account receivable has almost doubled, and accounts payable 334 million, right? So that's where we stand with operating activities in terms of loans repaid, that's 651 million here, and interest paid 281 million, So cash used in financing was 958 million as opposed to 350 million. So quite a bit of increase there due to loans being repaid. And purchase of property, plant and equipment, 100 million, and interest received 130 million. So cash at the end of the period would be pretty much the same here, 4 billion compared to the previous period. In terms of the outlook for the company, as stated by the taking from the statement, so Wigton has its primary strategic objective, which is the successful diversification of the company into other renewable sources of energy and geographical markets in order to boost its revenue stability and expansion. So that's good to see here. In line with this, they continue to offer and undertake solutions in wind, solar, and other areas of renewables, clean technology solutions, as well as invest in selected non-energy opportunities. And I highlighted this part here that's coming up. So while they're focused on diversification, discussions are now ongoing with key stakeholders on potential repowering of Wigton Phase 1 at Rose Hill, Manchester. This follows cabinet approval of a new 20-year generation license for Wigton Phase 1, right? The existing wind operations are sustained through long-term power purchase agreement with JPS, and the company is keen to maintain and improve through the aggressive pursuit of new businesses, its contractual performance obligations through improved efficiency with capacity and availability to consistently meet targets. So some words stand out here, of course. Aggressive focus on stability and expansion, and the fact they're looking to invest aggressively in the growth of the business. All things that we like to hear and see. The Wigton Renewable Energy Training Lab provides training in practical and theoretical courses in the areas of renewable energy, and with face-to-face training now being offered. During the period, they would have received reaffirmation of its JMA local currency rating on the Jamaica national scale, and a carry BBB, that's local currency rating on the regional scale ratings in relation to its bonds A and B, which were restated in March 2022. And then finally here it says Wigton is persistent in its efforts to improve its operational efficiency and investment opportunities. The board, management, and team members continue to work assiduously to ensure continued profitable outcomes and sustainability of the company's operation, right? So next it spoke about their corporate social responsibility, and we actually always like to see when companies focus on this, right? It's going to be important to understand what they're doing in terms of their willingness and commitment to invest in these areas. So let's just have a quick look at this. It says the company continues to seek ways to positively impact its stakeholders through contributions to social development, primarily in areas of education, crime prevention, community development, and environmental preservation and protection. So during the period, they would have donated computers to students of UWI, and Wigton acknowledges that education is the bedrock of any prosperous society, and so will always seek ways to contribute to the educational development of its students. And we like to see companies, who are listed engage in these things, right? So let's look at price history. And as I said, we're going to be using JMB Moneyline for this. Great platform. Be sure to check it out. So we're going to look at the live data soon. But in terms of numbers here, year to date, only up 1.42%. At the point that this data was collected, which was yesterday, it was down 1.3% week to date. In terms of the 52-week range, and I remember, when it went back to IPO price, a lot of persons were concerned, especially those who were shareholders from the IPO. But, if you're still holding from IPO, you'd have seen up to a 60% gain within the last 52 weeks. In terms of units, as much as 33 million units traded, 33.5 million. Shares outstanding though, massive at 11 billion, and market cap, of course, at 7.92 billion, right? And we're seeing the Q, but we're gonna talk about that when we log into the platform, right? So let me just jump onto Moneyline here. I think I'm sharing the wrong screen. Give me 1 sec. Do I want to just share? Here we go. I'm not sharing the wrong screen, guys. Sorry about that. You can always tell when I'm trying a new setup, right? I'm going to try this again. Try and share one more time. Should be seeing it now. Yeah, there we go. All right. So Orville, I see you saying the stock would be great for your grandchildren. What are you expecting? Because at this point, I think it's important to have realistic expectation for companies. If you remember, Wigton before the pandemic actually went to $1.15, which would have been over 100%. I think realistic expectation of companies are important. And what we have seen in terms of how the company has been, for the last 2 quarters, I don't know if you have much to complain about there, right? So this is the chart from JMB Moneyline. So the IPO was May 2019, right? I think so. And so we saw a lot of volume traded in 2019, right? I remember like this, you just see just amazing volumes going day by day. This is where I was mentioning it actually surpassed the dollar. I remember this day very well. I think it went as high as $1.15. And then as you saw, it found its way all the way down to about 70 cents. I remember a lot of persons were like, time to go. This was before the pandemic, right? It was kind of heading downwards. We saw it made its way down to IPO price and potentially below. I remember it was almost 40 cents at one point. If you would have bought at 40 cents, again, that would have been, I think, a good opportunity. We've seen it over the last, 2 years, made its way back to around the 70 cents mark. In terms of the queue, always some healthy amount of orders. Look at these orders here in terms of volume. So if you look at Wigton, Jamaica, etc., you would see typically large volumes in terms of buy orders based on the price and based on who would typically be buying these companies. A lot of funds would invest in these companies, but I mean, based on these volumes, it's actually quite plausible that this could still be retail investors based on the price and the volume, right? So we've seen this would still be within certain investors' ability to purchase, but you're seeing a lot of orders over $1 million here, right? And at 71 cents, so not difficult to fill these. So quite a bit of orders here. I wish I had the time to sum it all up, but quite a bit of orders there, up to 78 orders. And on the sell side, currently on the sell side, they don't have enough to meet all the demand on the buy side. I would say just in terms of units that I'm looking at here. So you're seeing orders as high as $71, which is always quite interesting to me. But yeah, there you have it. In terms of last trades, these were the trades that took place today. So you're seeing here 13 million units traded today. And yeah, I mean, it's just something that I've been looking at the activity recently. Whenever I plan to review a company, I'm looking into the volumes in the weeks leading up to it, because sometimes I'll plan a review a month out. And so I kind of spend some time looking at the company to see, how it's been trading, etc. So we're seeing volumes, kind of making its way up, right? So February, 10 million units here, 6 million units in March 2nd, March 9, 13 million units, etc. So it's something to keep, watching. In January, as much as 28 million units would have traded. So, something is happening here in terms of persons' interest in the company. So it's always something interesting to see, right? Let's talk about their dividends. So the last dividend announcement that we saw was December 1st last year. So that was $0.005 dollar dividend. And we noted 2 dividend here. So they paid a higher dividend in 2021 of 1 cent. So the one that was paid last year was about half that. So, well, no, it's about a third of that. So based on how things have been going, we may actually, well, they seem to pay dividend once per year in December. So depending on how the year goes, we may see a dividend close to what was in 2021. I didn't remember to look at what their dividend mandate was in the prospectus. That's something worth checking out. Companies usually state what their dividend policy is. I'm just realizing that you're not seeing anything on my screen. Apologies for that. Let me try sharing again. Yeah, so sorry about that. I was saying that we saw the dividend here for last year being a third of what it was in 2021. So depending on how the performance of the company goes for this year, we may see a dividend closer to where it was before in 2021 or potentially higher. And I'd have to look at their dividend policy to confirm that. But usually companies state their policy in the prospectus. So if you're holding Wigton or interested in what that dividend may be, check it out. But they seem to only pay it in December. So that's something to note, but just bear that in mind. All right, so in terms of news about the company, let's look at a couple of things here. So February of this year, Wigton has advised that it's entered into an agreement for sale for the purchase of land at lot 28 Fairpen in the parish of St. Andrew for a cost of $1,550,000 US, right? Other news here, September 5, 2022, the company has advised that the cabinet considered and approved a grant of a 20-year generation license commencing April 2023. So that's next month, by the minister with responsibility for energy to enable the continuation of the generating capacity of the company through phase 1 of its operation. So we spoke about phase 1 already. While the approval of this cabinet represents a critical step in the continuation of operations, Wigton must now negotiate with other key stakeholders to include suppliers, financiers, and its sole customer and regulator in order to determine the final cost of equipment, overall project viability, and applicable tariff. So it would be good to get an update on this, right? Because it says Wigton will continue to provide updates. We've seen no other updates. So this is from September. And of course, this would be the news that has been released about it. So the most recent one, 4 weeks ago, that's what you're seeing at top here. September last year from the Gleaner and some other articles here. Just, check that out if it is that you're interested in learning more about the company. And, of course, this is our review. So I'm just going to talk about it for a little bit here. Again, review sponsored by JMB Moneyline. I want to thank them for sponsoring the episode. So let's check out what some of the comments here are saying. So Orville saying that a realistic timeline for that $1 and change was just after IPO. Well, it's at 70 cents, Orville. $1 is not very far away. That's, two good trading days and I'll be back at $1, right? 70 cents, 15%, about 85, and then 15% again brings it above $1. So $1 is not far away for them. With the increasing in renewable energy, the trend may improve a little. I mean, that's what I'd be focusing on. And what we're looking at is the company's, commitment and determination to grow, right? That's what we're looking at. So I think we should always have realistic expectation of companies, guys. Remember, realistic expectations, right? Ron Jones saying he thinks it should be trading closer to $1 already. I mean, look within the context of the market. I think a lot of these stocks are trading at less than they would have if things were normal in our market. I think we really have to appreciate that. And that's why for me, and I've said this in our Telegram group, if you're not yet a member, feel free to join our Telegram group. Link is in the description. What I'm doing now in this market is taking my time and building my positions in companies that I like. Because I remember before the pandemic, one of the things we used to hear a lot is, I wish I bought more, I wish I bought more. Now, I'm not telling you to buy a Wigton, right? But I'm just saying that if you like a company, if it's trading at a reasonable price, you have an opportunity to buy more depending on your timeline for your investment. So Shelly says, double my money in less than 5 years or it's a waste of time. But Shelly, they would have listed in 2019. So you'd have gotten, if you did not sell, you'd be up 40% on your money in 4 years, because May 2023 would be 4 years, and you would have had an opportunity to double your money with Wigton in 2 months after it listed, right? So if your goal was to double your money, Wigton gave you that. Stock prices don't go in one direction though, right? $1 is far away. Look at the history. All right, so let's do that. Right, let's go back to look at that. Because I really think, like, I don't know what you guys are seeing, but I don't think Wigton is very far from $1. Don't think it's very far from $1, right? Every company needs a catalyst, right? So the catalyst, for example, could be anticipation. The catalyst could be something that comes out in terms of breaking news. So, I mean, yeah. And Wigton, if you remember, was a stock to watch for Chike, for a stocks to watch episode. If you have not checked that out yet, go and watch that episode. So you would have spoken about it there. So I know it's a company Chike likes. So hold on, I'm just looking at something here. So pretty much from like, I don't agree that $1 is far away. In terms of earnings, let's see here. Okay. Hold on, let me try and share my screen again. This is not so easy for me. I'm trying to adjust here. Okay, so Orville is saying agreed, but in my opinion, Wigton won't hit dollar mark for now. I mean, I don't know. You guys know I don't subscribe to saying stock prices. I don't think that bodes well for what we're trying to do as a channel. But I'll just say that with the right catalyst, $1 is not far away. That's what I'd say. I don't necessarily agree, right? So let me just say that I'm not a shareholder. Let me also say that. So it's not something that I'm a shareholder for right now. What is going on here? Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to think that one is better. Yes. Okay, cool. So looking at earnings from 2019 till now, so I do see where, I mean, the numbers could be a little better based on total for the year, because I'm doing some math here. So what they were doing in 2019, they're not back to those levels yet. This 366 million in a quarter, but I mean, the question would be now, what would it take for them to get back to that level? Jervis, did I miss that news? So here's the thing. I remember us speaking about that in the group recently. When I say recently, I mean last year. Let me check that out. Electric vehicles. How did I miss this? I do remember hearing. I probably can't read the Gleaner article. Let me try. Shelley saying Wigton is allergic to $1. Anytime it gets near $1, it falls back down. Wigton is emergency fund where you're not looking for growth, just maintaining your purchasing power. Okay, so interesting perspective. So of course, the Gleaner article not loading. So let me try the OUR today. All right, so Mayberry Investments providing financial advisor services on this transaction. Jamaica-based, let me zoom in, because I have to remember that some of you are on your mobile phones. So Jamaica-based company Wigton has diversified into the electronic vehicles market. This was done through an equity stake in Flash Holdings Limited, which is a sole shareholder of Flash Motors Company Limited. Okay. So they have a 21% stake in the company. Let's do a web search for that company. And let's see. Let me go back to their most recent financials to see if they mention anything about the company. Let me do that. Because Jarvis, did they mention any timelines for us to be able to see anything in terms of what the company is doing? Let's see what it says. So it acquired a 21% stake. It's incorporated in St. Lucia. The investment is effort to invest in new ventures, being ready to respond to calls. I'm just doing a quick read through. Okay, this is speaking about Wigton here. So I'd love to know more about the company, right? What's the company doing in terms of profitability? You know, how will it add to Wigton in terms of value to shareholders? So I'm gonna search their most recent report to see if they made any commentary about Flash. So I'm just doing a quick read through here, because they didn't mention anything in its outlook. I know I've gone through the report a little bit. Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything here. So Jarvis, I'd love to know more about, you know, the intent for that space for them, right? So that is definitely, you know, interesting to see. But if you remember, we've had Fesco on, and Tropical on. I don't think we spoke to RPL about electronic vehicles, but we spoke to Fesco, we spoke to Tropical, and we asked them what they can expect in terms of the adoption of electronic vehicles locally, etc. They said it was a ways out based for mass adoption, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing for Wigton, but it's something that would have to say, I guess, impact, because they haven't reported on it since. This was in, when was this article? March 2022. So yeah, I don't think we've seen anything since. Orville saying, right, Catalyst won't forward for now. I mean, let's say, so I'm interested in speaking with the CEO seeing what he says, because I do like where the company is trending in terms of their financial performance. So it would be good to hear from the CEO and get some of our questions answered. And then I think I'd be willing to say, what I think. But Shelley, and I'll bring about this comment here. So before, what I've always thought, and this is something that I'll say here, I've always looked at high volume companies as being very hard to grow in price because there's usually a lot of volume that can keep the price where it is, right? We say that with Jamaica. So for example, look at the amount of orders that's there for the buy side. Look at there not being enough volume on the sell side. I think if, for example, buyers get a little bit more aggressive in terms of the price they're willing to buy, then I mean it's I don't know, right? Again, I don't like to go into price speculation really, but I don't agree. I think a dollar can be closer than you think. Again, not being a shareholder in the company, but the stake in BYD, what's that, Orville? Didn't Wigton took a stake in Build Your Dreams company? Oh, so that's separate from the Flash Motors or the Flash company, Flash Holdings Limited. Is that separate, Orville? Let me search for that one as well then. So Wigton and Build Your Dreams. Wigton, Build Your Dream. I'm not seeing that. Let me check news. I'm not seeing that, Orville. So if you find that, share that in the group. I'm not seeing that. So what we shared was the Flash Holdings one, that EV company. So let me see if anybody is raising anything in the Telegram group, or somebody's asking about the share buyback for GK. We may cover that soon, but let me know. Yeah. So okay. So if there are no other questions, guys, I think we can end the review here. But I think that we may see some interesting activity for Wigton, especially as we move closer to April. But we'll talk about it in the Telegram group. Who knows? I'm not a shareholder. I don't plan to be a shareholder. But I know there's been renewed interest in Wigton based on what I've seen over the last few months. Hadn't heard about them for a while, but I'm seeing renewed interest based on what I've been looking at. So let's see. My job here is just to review the company for those who aren't aware. So I have nothing else to add to that mix there. All right, guys. So thank you so much. I hope you've been checking out our earnings calls. We did 3 earnings calls this week. Check those out when you have the chance. Let us know which companies you'd like to see earnings call for. We do have some other updates for the community. So please sign up for our newsletter in the description. Join our Telegram group if you haven't done so as yet. And thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you for watching every single video. You know who you are. Persons like Shelly Ann with great questions. Orville. Thank you for all the usual viewers who are here. Thank you for all the comments. I really appreciate everybody being here, new or old. I was supposed to do a shout out to someone. Oh my gosh, there was a company in Portmore who was watching our video. Somebody gave me their information. I was supposed to shout them out. I'm so sorry about that. I'll find the company and shout them out for our next review. But thank you, everybody for watching. Shelly Ann is asking, when we're doing the comparison. So we're waiting for the earnings for RPL and FESCO to do that comparison. That comparison will likely come next week. So we're going to start that first one there. What we're going to try to do is just compare the companies on some specific metrics, right? So for example, I'll just say for RPL and FESCO, one of the biggest things I'm going to say is let's focus on the size of the company to start. Size of the brand, how long they've been in business, etc. But then we're gonna look at just the different things: revenues, profits, balance sheets, cash flows, etc., and see if we can get a good understanding as to where the companies are, right? No, so Orville, I mean, some community members said they went into a shop in Portmore and they heard the store owner watching one of our videos. So I said I would do a shout out to the store owner. I'm just trying to find the name of the if you're watching this, who told me about the shop, because I wanted to just shout out the store owner for watching our videos. I mean that means a lot to me. So I wanted to shout out that person. I'll find it though. Thank you, Jervis, for that feedback about the earnings call. It's something that we want to get better at. It's something that we're trying to provide for every single company. There are over 100 companies. If we could do maybe 50% of those earnings calls, I think we'd have a more engaging and interesting market. Orville, you must choose your words wisely, FESCO price taking a nosedive. I don't agree. Nosedive is not the word I'd use. The price that it's trading at right now, it's been there for a little bit. So just choose your words wisely, man. Orville, you give too much trouble. So yeah, man, Flash Holding Limited, Jervis, I'm not seeing much about the company. So if they bought a 21% stake, what's the value of that stake? What revenues are they bringing in, profits, etc.? Are there dividends being paid? Like, I don't know. I didn't see anything about that. But Orville, it's not currently declining anymore. It's within it's within a trading range now of I think about 460 and 480. I don't want to look at FESCO because it's not a FESCO review now, but nosedive, if you are talking like a month or two after it went to 849, that'd be different. But it's been pretty stable where it's at right now. Remember, the stock price is not static. All right, guys, so I'll see you for our next video is Monday. We have an interview with Gordon Swaby from Edufocal to look at some major changes in the company. They released something on the JSE today to talk about restructuring of the company, so we're going to be getting into that and some other things that you can expect from the Edufocal team. So join us for that interview on Monday. On Tuesday, we're hoping to speak with Kyrie Robinson from Norbrook Equity Partners. We may also be hearing about Mailpack as well, so join us for that. And so, yeah, we'll see you next week. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you for watching.
Learning is the key to successful investing. And who doesn't want to invest in some way?
Here at Learn Grow Invest, we focus on financial education, all with the aim of sharing our knowledge on personal finance, investing, and building wealth. We do this on the foundation of our faith in God.
If a more holistic approach is what you need, check out our Grow Faith-based financial coaching program.
Find out more about us at learngrowinvestclub.com
and follow us on